Hello everyone, this is Andy B and this is a tutorial about the Save Render Presets add-on. When you have to change 10 or 20 or even more different settings in your scene, then you hit the render button and go to sleep because it needs so long to finish. But in the next morning you realize, whoops, I forgot that one setting. And this is what happens so many times. It's hard to remember exactly what changes need to be done. The hardest part for myself was clearly as I started to create VR cartoons. Because not everyone has VR, I wanted to export those videos in full HD and in a VR format. There were about 30 different settings I had to change for those exports. It's truly becoming a nightmare when you want to switch between those two settings. And there is of course another problem you face. The cameras. I had about 20 cameras in these cartoons. So I had to switch the settings for each of the cameras. Of course, I could use the same camera data blocks. But then I would still have to change each setting, or I would have to change the data block for every camera. There's so much room to forget something that will mess up the whole export. And so I decided to create this add-on to save render settings as a preset usable in every Blender file. So let's go quickly through those functions to show you how easy you can manage your render settings. As you can see, by default it includes the camera settings and it loads those saved settings to all cameras in the scene. That means that you can change every output, render and camera setting with just one click. But what if you prefer to only change or save the render and output settings? Or just the camera settings for one camera? You can just disable the checkbox, as you for sure already expected. By the way, the camera settings that will be saved are always the settings from the selected camera. If you choose to only affect one camera when loading the settings, but later on you want the settings on all cameras because you maybe added some fresh cameras, then you can add the settings from the selected camera to all other cameras in the scene by hitting the Copy Settings to All Cameras button. To create a new preset, hit the plus button, give the preset a name and press OK. To delete a preset, select the preset from the drop-down menu and then hit the minus button. To use a preset, simply select it in the drop-down menu. Note: the presets for only render and output and the presets for render output in cameras are different ones. The same is going on in the camera settings, but only for cameras. Under the tab Camera Presets, you have the same options we talked already about, inclusive the Copy Settings to All Cameras button. So if you make some changes and want them to be in all cameras, you can just hit the button and all other cameras will get the same settings. And a little bonus, the Set Default Output Name button. I've added this button because I truly never had to type an export name again. So what is he doing? He just creates the output name based on the name of the current Blender file. If you have no name created, it will use the name untitled, like Blender does when you save a file without giving a name. And if you forgot to give a name, of course, you can hit the button again after you named your Blender file. If you render a video file, it gives the video file the name of the Blender file. If you have a picture sequence, it will name a direction with the name of the Blender file and then add the word sequence to it. The pictures will be exported into this new directory, also named by the Blender file. The export path will be the directory named Blender Exports in the directory you are working with the current Blender file. If you don't like the button, you can get rid of it by disabling the checkbox in the add-on preferences. And that's it for the tutorial. I hope you liked it, and if you have any questions you can ask me in the comments below under the video, or if you bought the add-on on Blender Market, you can ask me there. So then, wish you a great time. Goodbye.